Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. Rowpaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Joining BJ Rains today is KTVB Sports Director Jay Tust. Check him out on Twitter at KTVB Sports Guy and make sure to check out KTVB.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now here's Jay Tust and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? A happy Friday to you. We have reached the end of the week. It's raining outside my house, though, Jay Tust. Not exactly great weather for a Friday. We had a couple nice days. It teased us, and now you go look at that Apple weather for the next week, and it's nothing but like 50s again and rain almost every day. But we'll at least try to get folks. Yeah, we'll try to get folks through it for the next 30 minutes or so. Jay Tust, sports director at KTVB, is with us. Happy Friday, Jay.
Happy Friday, man. How we doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. Always enjoy chatting with you, and on a Friday, it always means it's the final day of the work week here. So excited about that. By the way, we got our. I was just trying it on here, Jay. We got our new golf gloves for the.
Wow, look at those.
Every participant in the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament is going to get a. Thanks to our big sponsor, ICCU. Got the BNN logo on there, so we got. I got them right here. So if you participate in the tournament, that's one of the many goodies you're going to get on June 2nd. We just sold one to Terry Geis. Appreciate you, sir. He just purchased one this morning, so we're trying to fill up that afternoon session. And I was telling Prater yesterday, Jay, I don't know the exact details yet, but I talked to Timberstone. We're going to make it happen. Mike Prater, Jay Tust, Leon Rice, Tyson Degenhart, and one or two other celebrities will be battling it off in a putting contest before the start of the tournament with all 150 competitors huddled around the putting green watching. Jay Tust and Leon Rice, you're finally going to get to duke it out, man, on the putting green.
I'm going to have to go get my putt golf on, I think, here just to dial it in a little bit.
Well, we're looking forward to it. June 2nd. I was putting the list together, man. It's pretty incredible, actually, when you talk about all the different food options we're going to have, drink options we're going to have. We got some great sponsors, some great local companies that wanted to be involved in this. So we really appreciate it. As I said yesterday, every group in the foursome gets a bag of bacon from Bacon. I'm looking forward to that. There's going to be R&R barbecue. There's going to be Cutwater Spirits with some beverages. We're going to have Michelob Ultra out there. We're going to have Paddles Up Poke is going to be making some mini bowls there on the spot for you. Pastry Perfection bringing the Degenhart dozens. Just Cater It. Chef Wally is going to be catering lunch, and he's told me, Jay, that he is stepping it up a notch this year. There may even be a carving station for some sandwiches. It's going to be we're stepping it up a notch. The food, the drinks is going to be well worth the price of admission by itself, but then you get the golf glove, you get a sleeve of golf balls, you get our friend Clint Horniman put together the T-shirts this year again, so we're going to have a new version of the T-shirt. Thanks to Bauscher Real Estate. His logo will be on the back for sponsoring those. So, and I can announce the new game, Hole 17, Jay Tust. If you're in the morning session, you're going to get Tyson Degenhart. If you're in the afternoon session, you're going to get RJ Keene for a $20 donation to the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. You're going to be able to step up on hole 17, and there's going to be about a 20-foot circle or so around the hole, so it extends the hole a little bit, but not the entire green. And you'll be able to take a shot And if you land for $20, well, you get your shot either way, but you're in the contest if you put in the $20. And if the lands inside the white chalked area there, you're going to be entered to win basically $1,000 worth of stuff from Timberstone Golf Course, including a brand new driver. It's like a $600 driver, a new golf bag, as well as some balls. And then if everybody in your group puts the $20 and does it, then you get Tyson. You get a free shot from either Tyson or RJ as well, who are both pretty good golfers. And if their shot lands in there, your whole group is entered as well into the drawing for the brand new driver. So
let's go.
I expect a full report, Jay, when you get to that hole when Tyson takes the shot with your group. I'm curious to see how that if you can get your ball inside of Tyson's there on hole 17.
I'm gonna guess that's gonna be really tough to do there, BJ. I'm not gonna lie. You're setting a circumference around the hole. I usually just try to aim for anywhere close to the green on those things. So
the par fives are Jay's specialty, where he can just let it fly.
And par fives generally means that you have a shot at a recovery shot. That's more than anything my strength right there. So
we're giving away the car as well, the Bronco Sport, thanks to Lithia Ford of Boise. We're under a month away, it's 4 weeks from today, I believe it is, Jay. So we're really looking 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it is. We're really looking forward to this. I guess it's 4 weeks because it's June 2nd. It's Friday. Again, Bronco Nation news. We're getting crunch time here, so we got to fill these afternoon spots. Help the Idaho Youth Sports Commission, help some local cause, help us fund our travel and things for the upcoming football season and some of the other exciting things we have in the works. June 2nd, Timberstone Golf Course. Email me, rains@bronconationnews.com if you want in. Johnny and Prater are going to be doing their show out there. Jay's going to be out there. Winston, Coach Riddle, Matt Bauscher, Vinny Peretta is going to be there. Ryan Winterswick. The list goes on and on. Tyler Rassa, Thomas Spurbeck, and then a lot of the current players as well. DJ Schramm, Riley Smith, Jonah Dalmas, Kanoe Kaniho, Alexander Tubner, Mad Dog, Maddox Madsen, a big group of players. So it's going to be a lot of fun. The event of the summer. Don't miss it, but we're in crunch time now. 4 weeks till we start, and we do have limited foursomes remaining. So sign up now. Bronco Nation News, bronconationnews.com/golf. Jay, before we get into our main topic today, which is football, I think we got to touch on the softball team, man. Now, the football topic today is 5 breakout players. And by the way, when you start talking here, I'm going to reset my internet, so I may be out for just a second. Don't get scared. But we're going to talk 5 breakout players for the football team. That's our storyline question today. But watched the entire game yesterday on the Mountain West Network, the softball team. No center field camera. It was a little odd camera angle watching from basically the high behind home plate angle. Couldn't really tell on some of the fly balls and things what was going on. But 4-2, they hung on in the 9th or the 7th, gave up 2 runs, but hung on. They win the game. And now the Boise State softball team, Jay, needs 1 win either today or tomorrow. And Coach Schultz and company wins the Mountain West regular season title.
Yeah, San Diego State had their bye late in the season, not till this week. So Boise State just kind of playing for first by themselves. They absolutely control their own destiny. If they can win one of their final 2 games for the second time ever, they will be Mountain West champions. And, you look at yesterday's effort, it's kind of followed a similar script to how it's gone all season for the Boise State softball team. They relied on their bats and more than anything, hit home runs. They scored 4 runs. They hit 3 home runs. Autumn Bennett had one. Elia Flores had one. And Mackenzie Hanna had a solo shot. Taylor Cottle went the distance in the circle for the 16th time this season as Boise State. They won 4-2. And afterwards, Coach Schultz called it a gritty effort. They got the job done. They did what they needed to do. And now their magic number is down to 1. If they can win one of their final 2, as you said, BJ, this thing's over. Boise State controls their own destiny. They have a game tonight and a game tomorrow. Got to get 1 win.
Yeah, pretty good for them. Got off to a little bit of a rough start, played a lot of tough teams early in the season. So record-wise, it ended up at this point actually being fairly close to what it was last year.
Yeah, they played more games last year, but they're pretty close.
Yeah, and so they're in a strong position here. I guess the one downside this year, Jay, is they added the conference tournament because in years past, if you win the regular season, you got the automatic bid to the big dance.
Right.
Now you have to win your conference tournament. But if they're able to win the regular season and go pretty far in the conference tournament, maybe if they lose in the finals or something, I still think they're going to have an at-large case. But certainly they want to win that tournament in San Diego next week and not leave any doubt.
I think their RPI or whatever you call it in softball is right around 48. So it seems like they're in the mix to get an at-large bid. But you're right, BJ. I mean, like at this point in time last year, Boise State would feel really, really good about getting to the the postseason because if you won the Mountain West regular season, you clinched. Now they have to go through the Mountain West Conference tournament, and I mean, I'll call it what it is. They had a tough time against San Diego State up here in Boise last weekend. The Aztecs took two of three. The sandwich game, the one in the middle, I mean, that was I think a 10-1 blowout for the Aztecs. So San Diego State certainly presented some problems and some challenges for Boise State, and that's not going to be an easy team to defeat in the tournament.
No doubt about it. Hey, we're going to talk Boise State football. 5 breakout players, get them in. But first, want to remind you we're broadcasting from the Cutwater Spirits mobile studios. Check out more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails from Cutwater Spirits at your local gas station or grocery store. Let them do the work. All that they're pre-mixed, pre-made, premium cocktails ready to go right there out of the refrigerator, and they're fabulous. And they'll be having some free samples and things out at the golf tournament on June 2nd as well. So we appreciate Cutwater Spirits. Ropaint.com, they'll be out there June 2nd. ROEpaint.com. 5 times stronger than epoxy, the one-day install. I highly recommend their concrete coatings. We've had it on our back patio, our garage. It's transformational in terms of changing the look and getting rid of that ugly, dirty, oil-stained piece of concrete slab you have there. Let them do it. Free estimate. They'll come on out. ROEpaint.com. Tell them Bronco Nation News sent you. Lithia Ford of Boise. It's that time of year. Lithia Ford of Boise's annual grilling season sale means you can get a great deal on that grill on the lot. They won't cook your burgers. With all the money you'll save, you can grab yourself a new barbecue in addition to your new car or truck. Get the full inventory of vehicles at LithiaFordBoise.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. You saw the beautiful golf gloves they're providing at the tournament. Everybody needs another golf glove in their bag. You lose your glove, you forget it. It's perfect to have an extra golf glove in the bag, and we appreciate Idaho Central Credit Union for that. More than 550,000 Idahoans have made the switch to Idaho Central Credit Union. You can too at ICCU.com. And if you need a job, how about transportation compliance service? Check out TCSTranscomService.com. Whether it's the big rig on your screen, the Amazon truck in your neighborhood, any kind of delivery service, they can help you out with the DOT permits, the overweight permits, all the things you need. If you try to do it yourself, mostly it's almost 80% end up going out of business. Let the professionals do it. Let them fill out the paperwork for you, and let them get you out there on the open road making some money in no time. Jay, today's question, 5 breakout players, or maybe just potential breakouts. We don't have to limit it to 5, but just some potential breakout candidates. And I think I said youngsters, but, there's a couple older guys that maybe you're finally going to get a role. I think it's just in general. And I went through the roster, and I came up with, 3, 6, 9. I got 11 names on my list, kind of just as that first popped out at me.
You literally told me 5.
I did. And then I went through and got 11. So,
all right.
I know you did your homework on this, though, so I appreciate you for doing that. But I don't know if you just want to name a couple on your list, or you want me to go through and name a couple and we just talk about them. But breakout candidates, guys that maybe, got a dabble last year, did something last year, ready to either become starters or become stars, or guys we haven't heard of at all that are ready to maybe have some sort of impact. And then you can define it different ways. But obviously, Jay, I think we know there's, especially on defense, going to be some guys that really have to step up in some key spots. I think the offensive line has an opportunity for some young guys to emerge as well. The floor is yours, I guess. You can, whatever direction you want to go here in terms of some breakout candidates.
I tried to go with names that aren't necessarily ones that Bronco Nation has talked about a lot, like some for sure. And I know that a lot of, fans out there will recognize a number of these names clearly, but like an Eric McAllister, I kind of shied away from him because I think that's so obvious. Like his role is obviously going to grow in this offense. It did over the second half of last season. And I think there are big expectations for him coming up in his sophomore season with the Broncos. For me, 4 of my 5 were on the defensive side of the ball. And I think this guy is pretty similar to how you would talk about Eric McAllister, just on the other side of the ball. I think Andrew Simpson is primed for a massive breakout season. Probably my number 1 candidate to break out. Yeah, exactly.
Number 1 guy on my list, Andrew Simpson. There you go.
I mean, we saw glimpses of him last year, and the moment wasn't too big for him. He seems like he is going to be an impact player in the middle of this defense for years to come. Andrew Simpson the number one breakout player for me this season.
Does he take over I mean, I know they could shift the positions around.
Right.
I know Zeke Noah was middle, but I mean, do you think Andrew Simpson is a starting linebacker this year?
I think, yeah, absolutely. I think Andrew Simpson's the starting linebacker this year. And, DJ Schramm proved that, he's proved over his time at Boise State, he can be productive regardless of what linebacker spot you put him at. And I know that he switched back and forth at times, even last year. And he thrived doing it too, by the way. I mean, he had a couple 4-tackle for lost games, even, at that different linebacker position than he started most of the season at. So I think that Andrew Simpson's going to play a ton this year. I think he's going to be really, really productive. He is athletic. He is fast. He is something that will, I don't want to say Boise State's been missing necessarily at that position, but you just go back to the Leighton Vander Esch days where they had like a really long athletic linebacker that had a lot of get off the bus factor. And I'm not saying that even Andrew looks like, Leighton did in terms of his length and athleticism, but I mean, it's just getting closer back to that. And I'm really, really excited to see what Andrew Simpson can do this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I've got him on my list, and another guy that, again, is in a similar spot. Still, I think, is technically considered a walk-on, but when you talk about defense, I wonder if you have this guy on your list, Gabe Hunter.
I had 5 spots.
Okay.
DJ.
I have 11. I have 11. I guess I just mean your biggest 5. So, but what do you make of Gabe Hunter as a potential breakout candidate?
Yeah, I think he could be. He was really forced into some playing time there at the end of last season, and he came up with a couple of interceptions. One of them, helped them clinch that Utah State win early Black Friday. Day after Thanksgiving. He dropped into coverage, got a pick that helped seal the deal right there, and so he's not on my top 5, BJ, but he will certainly play a bigger role on this team than he did last year's team. I wonder if he can get another interception. It was crazy how the ball just kind of found him in his limited playing time. I mean, 2 picks for an edge. That's pretty good for a full season, let alone a guy that played, really limited snaps. Maybe that's what he does. Maybe that's what he's good at. I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay, well, I got 2 more defensive guys. I'm trying to guess who I think's on your list here. How about Braxton Feely on the defensive line?
Okay, so I didn't go with Braxton Feely, but I could feel you on that one. For me, I went with, and these are 2 guys that
I've got Ahmad Hassanin on there too.
Exactly. And so on my top 5 list, staying on the defensive side of the ball, I had Ahmed and I had Herbert Gums. And again, both of those guys were contributors last year, no doubt. But they weren't necessarily talked about like Scott Matlock was talked about. And those 2 guys, I think, are set to make really big leaps as they get a little bit older, as they gain a little bit of experience on the defensive side of the ball. Herb's got an awesome story to him and a willingness to do whatever it takes. Ahmed is, you talk with anybody over in that program, he is strong and he loves the weight room and he's got a cool background as well. But Ahmed just has like the character, I think, that he's also going to step up and have a presence, not just when it comes to production, but when it's personality, character, leadership. It seems Ahmed is that type of guy.
Totally agree with you there. And I do think Feely has a chance just because of we heard a lot about him in the spring, and they just have so many guys leaving.
I'm not saying if you gave me a list of 11, if you told me to pick out 11, Braxton Feely's on the list, BJ.
Yep. Oh, no doubt about it. What about, and I should have, I skipped over this guy at linebacker. I've got Deshaun Misa on there.
Okay, so he's on my top 5 as well. And more than anything, I don't know if Deshaun Misa is going to start a ton for this team this year. He's a redshirt freshman this year, so he's got 4 years of eligibility. Like, he was a true freshman last year. He played in 4 games, so he's able to preserve his redshirt. That means he still has 4 years of eligibility moving forward, so he's only a redshirt freshman this year. Beginning next year, once DJ Schramm takes off, because he'll be finally be out of eligibility, right? I mean, like, when you look at the future linebacker spot between Deshaun Misa and Andrew Simpson playing back there seems to be a lot of promise. I do think that Deshaun's going to find a way to have a significant role on this team, and not only on defense, but probably special teams. I think that he's going to be a guy that you notice a few times on special teams this year, whether it be a big hit on kickoff or something like that. But he is big, he's athletic, and I think that he offers versatility that would allow that coaches are going to want to utilize if they can. And that probably means contributing on special teams.
Yep, no doubt about it. I think that defensively, there's a lot of question marks, but there's a lot of young guys that I think do have a chance to step up. Did you have any more defensive guys on your list? Did we hit on your 4?
So on my top 5, I had 4 defensive guys. We talked about all of them. To recap, I got 2 linebackers, Andrew Simpson, Daishawn Misa, and 2 defensive linemen, Ahmed Hassanin and Herbert Gums.
Okay, I'm intrigued on the offensive side here because, again, maybe we're getting into the category like I did have Eric McAllister on the list, and I totally can't. I mean, but I think, what did he have? 15 catches last year or something?
Yeah.
He did. You could call that the breakout because he literally came out of nowhere. But I still think he could become a 30 or 40 catch guy, and you'd call that a big step up.
Yeah, if he's, I think the thing about that, BJ, is if Eric McAllister is, let's call it a 30 catch guy, he also might be upwards of 600 receiving yards on 30 catches because he's a big play guy. Like, we saw that out of him. I'm sure that he's gonna become a more complete receiver and maybe get some more, those possession type grabs, but he's a big play wide receiver. And so even if he only gets 30 catches, he could be upwards of 600 receiving yards because he's a guy that could average, 20 yards per catch. He's that type of dynamic playmaker. He is explosive. And so if he can even get 30 catches, I could see a really big season out of him. I just was given a top 5, BJ, once again.
Yep.
And
well,
I had to trim at some point, and I'm just like, I think the fans are going to really know and have great expectations and be really eager to see what Eric McAllister can do this fall in his encore performance, if you will.
To be quite honest, I said we got 30 minutes to fill. We might need to talk about
I get you. I get you. Yeah, let's extend it, man.
A little bit, and I kind of rewrote the question, and I did kind of forget to tell you. I told you 5, so you did I knew you'd be able to talk about some of these other guys anyway. A couple intriguing names for me on offense. We'll talk about them in just a second. First, quick word from Sound Story.
Mother's Day is coming up, and I have the perfect gift for you to give your mom this year. It's Sound Story. Hi, this is Joe Buck. Every year we try to come up with the best gift to show our moms how much we appreciate everything they've sacrificed and all they have done for our families. With Sound Story, you can give a gift that mom will love and the whole family will love as well. Sound Story gives you and your family, brothers, sisters, and or moms, grandchildren, whatever, the chance to tell stories of your childhood, your memories of the lessons your mom taught you, and the love she has given you. Sound Story is an hour-long interview conducted in person or via Zoom by your choice of BJ Rains, John Mallory, Mike Prater, or David McKenzie, and it couldn't be easier to purchase. Just go to mysoundstory.com, click on gift certificates, and present your mom with a gift on Mother's Day that she will treasure. And right now, all you have to do is enter promo code BNN15 to save 15% on your Mother's Day Sound Story gift card. Just go to mysoundstory.com and enter promo code BNN15 for 15% off your Mother's Day gift that she and your family will never forget.
Thank the Blue and Orange Store, the blueandorangestore.com. Check them out. Free shipping, any order over $40. You can find them as well on the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall there, the Blue and Orange Store. Bauscher Real Estate, the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. Check them out, BauscherRealEstate.com. Best in the business, number 1 ranked realtor yet again. No home is too small or too big for Matt and his team. And of course, Ridley's Family Market, shopridleys.com. 13 locations in the state of Idaho. Find one near you at shopridleys.com and download that Ridley's app for exclusive savings up to 40%. Okay, Jay, back to the offense here for some of the guys here I was looking at. I'm going to throw in Matt Lauder at tight end as a possibility.
Yeah, he is actually the one offensive player that made my list, BJ.
Okay. How about that?
I think that his role is going to have to grow. You hear what they're doing with the tight ends, which the tight end position it's such a funny I don't know if I'm going to call it an infatuation or what, but it's just an interesting storyline every single year because every single year it's like, they're going to use the tight ends more. They're going to throw to the tight ends more. And once upon a time, like that maybe was the case. And maybe they had a few tight ends that they really tried to incorporate on the offensive side. But it's been a few years since that was kind of realistic or that they use tight ends in any way that probably satisfied the sky high expectations of fans. I think like you go back and you see like Jake Rowe, right? Like he had upwards of 40 catches a few times in his career. And I think that a lot of people thought that might be the standard, but it seems like it was the exception. And so I think that if you can look at like a guy like Riley Smith, who everybody knows, if you can push him into, that 30, 35 catch season, that territory, I think that you have to consider that a pretty big season out of a tight end. How can Matt Lauder complement that? And I know that they're going to want to, run a lot of personnel out there using a couple of tight ends and things. And so Matt Lauder is positioned in prime, not only to be a guy that has to step up this year, but it's going to be important for him to take a big leap this year because he will be the guy next year.
No doubt about that. And you've got like Luke Voorhees, some other younger tight ends that in the next couple of years are going to get a chance. By the way, on the ICCU YouTube chat, our friend Colin Mitchell says new microphone sounds great. Curtis says, I also mentioned the new mic for Jay is a huge difference. It's like the difference between 480p standard definition and 4K video. But Rudy says if you had the choice of new microphones or Colin Mitchell, he's on Team Colin.
Amen on that. Amen on that, Rudy.
We love what Colin's doing. He believe me, it was not my choice that he wanted to move on, but he deserves a full-time job and some other things that he has in the works. So we appreciate Colin. And I think there's a chance BNN subscribers, friends, family, you may get to see him out. I think I'm going to be able to twist his leg to come help us out at the golf tournament, at least on June 2nd. So we're hoping to have Colin out there helping out at least at the golf tournament to see everybody. Okay, the last couple of guys on my list real quick, Jay. I have I put Prince Strawn on there. I mean, we've heard, he comes in. I mean, we may be overhyping him a little bit given all the guys they have on the roster at receiver this year. So I don't know how much like playing time he's going to get and how much he's going to make a chance to make an impact. But he's a freshman. He has no career catches. He hasn't played. If he makes any kind of impact, I mean, that would be, I think, fall into the maybe potential breakout candidate.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like him and Eric McAllister might offer similar things to this offense, but you look at Prince's size, man, and it is intriguing. I mentioned, the get off the bus factor when I was talking about the linebackers. Prince certainly has got some get off the bus factor when it comes to being a wide receiver. I mean, he's not only tall, but he looks a little put together, and he's young, and so he's only gonna get better and develop and get bigger and things like that. I don't think you're off there because you're right. Even if he has 5 to 10 catches for 100 to 150 yards or something like that would be a really good true freshman season for Prince. And he would be a true freshman because he gray shirted last year. And so he delayed his enrollment. He wasn't on campus necessarily for last football season. So this would be his very first football season as a member of the Boise State football team. And we'll see what he can do. You're right. That receiver room's really, really deep. So how does he find a way on the field? I think the more important question is, how do they keep him off the field after what we saw during this, spring ball and the spring scrimmage?
And then 3 other guys I put on here. I don't know if you can count an offensive lineman as a breakout candidate, but 3 guys that I put on here: Roger Carrion, Cage Casey, and Jason Steele.
I would consider that because they're going to need somebody to kind of step up and fill at least one spot
Randolph,
on the line.
I guess Mason Randolph kind of last year.
I thought you were going to go with Mason Randolph. And I mean, he was a guy that he had to start almost like a spot start really at Oregon State because of some injuries and stuff that were going on up front. I believe that was surrounding Ben Dooley at the time. And he had to play a lot last year, and then he went through his own injuries. And so he was kind of in and out of the lineup. But I think they really like Mason Randolph, and it's going to be interesting to see how much he can handle. They keep him at guard. Do they try him at center? They got to fill that center spot. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with him and how he's able to kind of project and develop. And I mean, you kind of, with your picks, BJ, you went with 3 guys there that really haven't played a ton at all. I would kind of have Mason Randolph on there because I feel like he contributed last year, but now he's got a chance to be a real mainstay this year.
Yeah, I guess I didn't. I kind of put last year as his breakout, but I agree I agree that he's above those 3 on my list. I just kind of said he already had his breakout, and those 3 I think are it's going to be interesting what that offensive line looks like. We didn't get a great looking spring because some guys were out injured and things like that, but obviously they've got a.
That's always the case with the offensive line, though. I mean, there's always a guy or 2 that's on the mend and had to have surgery. And, you try to save wear and tear on those guys, especially if you're, an older veteran or something like that. And so, yeah, it was kind of hard to get a complete feel for the offensive line. And that's what I mean. Like it's probably going to look a little different when, we get out there for fall camp and start covering this team compared to what we saw in the spring.
Sky says, my kid asked what team drafted Prince last week because they thought he was so good at the spring game. Yeah, Prince will be around for a couple of years. Before we get out of here quickly, someone's asking here about Bolt. Any update on Austin Bolt, Jay?
I don't think there is at this point. I've had a couple of people ask me that too. And no news is just no news. He was injured and he's still coming back from that. If you remember, I know you remember, but fans remember. I mean, he suffered a pretty gruesome injury in the season opener last year that's taken him some time to get back from. And so when we didn't really talk about him or see him much, during spring ball, there was a reason to that. It's his health. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, that's my takeaway from this.
Yeah, just we haven't really seen him at practice or around the team, so there's some kind of question what's going on there. But as of now, he's on the roster and set to maybe be back by next season. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, we're getting time too, like transfer portal stuff. I don't even know if
I believe the window is closed. The window is closed for you to enter the portal, but there's still a lot of guys in there that can pick somewhere else. And by the way, there was someone's asking here. They did get some sort of transfer. The Andy Avalos sent out the bat signal on. I don't know if that's officially been confirmed. I saw some speculation. There's a Texas Tech offensive lineman that maybe has some connections to Will Farah. Who's not doing the recruiting stuff there for Boise State. So I don't know if that's been officially. Have you seen that officially yet? Or
I haven't seen that officially yet, but I do know there was a certain Texas Tech guy that came out to visit.
Yeah.
And I think that if they could add a veteran to that offensive line, it certainly would not hurt.
Yeah, a couple other names: Rodney Robinson. Somebody mentioned Wyatt Milkovic, Caden Dudley, Billy Bowens is some potential breakout guys. So it just kind of depends how you.
He's a little older. I don't know if I would say that he's a breakout guy. He's contributed. Some of those other guys, Wyatt, I think he's going to have his time here at Boise State. I just think it's a little early when you consider who's in front of him potentially at linebacker. It's just a little crowded. I'm not saying he won't play this year, but I just think it's a little crowded. Who are the other ones, BJ?
It was Rodney Robinson. He started every game. He started every game last year.
Yeah, he had 3 picks last year. And maybe that's just somebody saying like maybe he becomes that like household JL Skinner type name, like where everybody recognizes it.
Yeah, there's different
but he was really productive last year.
Yeah, it just kind of depends how you define breakout, I guess.
Yeah.
But, fun first week. It's fun talking football. It's crazy how easy it is to come up with topics in the offseason on football. So we're 5 topics. Then we've talked about the coaching staff already, special teams, some breakout players, draft picks going into next year. I forget what did we talk about on Tuesday. I forget what our topic was Tuesday. That was only 3 days ago.
I know, right? I felt like we got to it kind of late
because who starts at corner.
At corner.
Yeah. And then when we get into next week, we've got let's see what we got real quick before we get out of here. Next week's list gets down to offensive line, tight ends, changes to Albertson Stadium fan experience, the pass rush and sacks. And then maybe look at the early schedule a little bit. What's the record at the end of September is a key tough stretch. I think that's our topic next Friday, Jay, is the early season schedule. So appreciate you as always, Jay. Thanks for coming on. Thanks to everybody for checking us out. Sorry if we didn't get to all your comments. Check out Jay. Make sure you follow him, KTVB Sports Guy on Twitter. Check out all of his work at ktvb.com and on the news. Make sure you're subscribing as well to the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel and all of our social media channels as well. And go sign up for the golf tournament. We're getting close to selling out. It's worth the price of admission to see Jay Tust let it fly on hole 1 there to start the tournament. So appreciate all of our sponsors. Thanks to everybody for checking us out. Have a great Friday. Hope the rain subsides here and you're able to have a good weekend as well. John Mallory and I will be back at 9 a.m. on Monday. Make it a great weekend. Have a great Friday. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.